My name is Scott Seymour. I had a traumatic experience about 15 years ago when we were playing volleyball in my neighbor's pool. And the ball happened to go out of the pool, so I got out to throw it back in. And when I did, I decided I would jump over the side of the pool and go into a front roll. But when I did that, I literally dove right into the bottom of the pool and crashed my head on the bottom of the pool. It was only 4 feet deep, so it was above the ground pool. But when I did that, I was still conscious, but I was underwater holding my breath and trying to stand up and trying to move my arms to pull myself up to the surface. But nevertheless, my arms weren't moving, neither were my legs, and nothing was happening. And I could still move my head, and I happened to see my arms floating all the while I was underwater. So I continued to hold my breath and hold my breath and hold my breath, and I had no other choice. And eventually my wife, who was only a few feet away from me, grabbed me and pulled me up. We, once I came out of the water, I was still conscious. I knew what was happening, but they called the paramedics and the ambulance, and they got me there and got me on a straight board and secured me in an ambulance and took me to the hospital because I was paralyzed from the neck down.
And Scott, they backboarded you right in the pool, didn't they?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. So they strapped me right into a board, and they took me in an ambulance and rushed me to the hospital in the ER room. And within about an hour and a half, I was on a steroid solution that was basically reducing the swelling in my spinal cord, where the C3, 4, and 5 discs were herniated and pressing so hard on the spinal cord that I had no movement whatsoever from the neck down. But within about an hour and a half, I was able to move my arms very slowly and very uncoordinated. And I did not walk for 5 days because I couldn't even stand up. And after I was released from the hospital on day 6, even then I couldn't do a whole lot as far as movement. I had to really take it very slow. My arms and feet and legs tingled severely for quite some time, but that slowly began to go away, and there's still residual effects. There may be some numbing in the thumb and in the legs and toes and so forth, but not as bad as it was. The key was, after I got out, I had to slowly work through rehab, and I was one of the very fortunate and blessed ones that wasn't killed as a result of the impact in the pool. Most people, as a result of taking such a hard impact on their head, will either become quadriplegics from the neck down, or at least paraplegics from the waist down, depending on where the injury and how severe it may be, or possibly be killed in the accident itself. I was one of the very fortunate ones that was able to make a full comeback, although there's still residual effects in the sense that, like I say, I have tingling in different places and so forth, and that's just nerve damage that'll never go away. But
And you said to this day, every now and then you'll go pick up like a glass or something like that. And
yes, some of the residual effects were might even within the time that I got out of the hospital, within the next month or two. My fingers, the sensation was I couldn't always feel things. If I was stirring a cup of coffee, my fingertips would be in the coffee and I couldn't even feel it, and they would be burning my fingertips, and I didn't realize because the sensation was so dulled. That slowly got better, but it took not months, but it took years for it to get better. 5, 6, 7 years before that, and there's still some sensation and so forth and tingling, but it doesn't affect my life the way that it did when the accident had first occurred.
and this happened when you were how old?
I was 38 years old. It was in 2002.
Okay,
So,
and you're 51 now, right?
51 now,
And
yes,
and
sir.
still every now and then still feel some of the side effects from
Yeah,
it?
and Mike, I feel them continuously. It's not as severe as what it was, and those side effects have slowly deteriorated to where the nerve has regenerated and gotten better over time. Some of the side effects, like I say, like the tingling and so forth, is always present. It's just not as dramatic or not as intense as what it was originally, but it never really goes away and has not gone away. Maybe it's just gotten much better as time goes on.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us, and that's why we, interview people like this to try and educate other people. Not to jump in with your, head first, but, even though you know better, every now and then, you're with a group of friends and things can happen really quick that are, out of our control.
Absolutely. It was a costly error on my part, and I'm just one of the very fortunate ones that's still alive to be able to talk
Sure,
about, to help
sure.
others to never make the same mistake
Sure.
that I did.
All right, well, thank you for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.